Thank you for inviting me and giving me occasion to expose some concerns of the Holy See in regard with such a dramatic issue. Against the backdrop of global population growth, affordable telecommunication, and persistent economic inequalities, human mobility has increased, as we all know. In 2015, the United Nations estimated that there were some 244 million international migrants across the world, an increase of more than 40% since the year 2000, when the number was 170 million. Many people are escaping war and persecution. In 2016, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees reported that at the end of 2015, more than 65 million people were forcibly displaced worldwide as a result of persecution, conflict, violence, or human rights violation, an increase of 6 million compared to just 12 months earlier. Looking at this phenomenon, the first question that could raise is that what is the response of the international community? A question very appropriate in Geneva. A quick review of the global response to trafficking in persons need to begin with an analysis of the legislation that countries use to criminalize this activity. The laws are assessed according to their compliance with the definition of trafficking as stated in the United Nations Trafficking in Person Protocol. Few international legal instruments have been as rapidly as globally endorsed as the United Nations Trafficking in Persons Protocol. The protocol entered into force, as you know, in December 2003, only 3 years after its adoption. In addition to the Trafficking in Person Protocol, international law includes a number of international legal instruments that identify, define, and describe different forms of exploitation. We have a list of conventions that are all equally important, and they all equally demanded for all of us, including religious authorizations and the Holy See, an appropriate answer and a very consequent and serious way of dealing with this plague of modern time. At present, there is only limited awareness how the courts at national and the regional levels are interpreting state obligations under the Trafficking in Persons Protocol. To date, efforts to collect and consolidate relevant case law have been limited, and comparative analysis even more so. However, recognizing the difficulties in fighting this phenomenon, the international community in 2015 relaunched her will to fight human trafficking through the Sustainable Development Goals. Analyzing SDG 16 and in particular its target 16.2, there is a clear call for the end of abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children. To this goal, the Holy See is strongly committed, and we intend probably in this year to present, hopefully also in Geneva, position of the Holy See, official position of the See, in front of this enormous and plausible effort of the international community, which is fixed in Sustainable Development Goals. What is Holy See and the Catholic Church doing more specifically? As in the past pontificates, as well as the Pope Francis, the Holy See has always shown its firm condemnation of these crimes and continues to draw international attention in this regard. There are numerous statements given by the permanent observers in the United Nations and the many other international organizations, in particular those present in Geneva, New York, and Vienna. This commitment is witnessed in the legal norms also of the Vatican City State. The Holy See has ratified the UN Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime the optional protocol on the Convention on the Rights of Child concerning the sale of children, child prostitution, child pornography. It is also worth noting that the Holy See has ratified the UN Convention Against Corruption, crimes which are well known to facilitate and promote the trafficking and exploitation of migrants. Regarding migrants, it is important to know that Pope Francis has chosen in the creation of the new dicastery for the service of integral human development to reserve to himself the department that deals specifically with migrants and refugees. This means that Pope is in charge of Vatican dicastery ministry related to the phenomenon of migration and refugees. The Church, furthermore, has an important role in promotion of the role of women's society and promoting the value and the respect for the dignity of every human person, especially if we consider the universality of the Church. It means the presence of the Church in many countries where the question is much more radical than in other parts of the world. Many organizations of the Catholic Church are concretely involved, at times collaborating fruitfully with other institutions and churches, religious and non-religious organizations, in the prevention of human trafficking by way of practical assistance, rescue and recovery, and reinsertion of victims back into society. One should call to mind the international network of women institutions, the European named Renate and the global one named Talitha Kum, that offer their special assistance to women, girls and children in a wide array of services, psychological, healthcare, world and spiritual assistance, helping people find again their sense of self-worth and dignity. The Talitha Kum started in 2009. After only 5 years, has 24 networks and 79 countries, with over 1,100 men and women religious, with over 240 religious communities. As often stated by Pope Francis, there is an urgent and compelling need to put an end to trafficking in human beings in all forms of exploitations, particularly prostitution, forced labor, the harvesting of human organs, and the use of children. Dear all, let me conclude by saying that one of the challenges in our activity in Geneva could be defined in this simple statement. Let us try to make ours the last generations that has to fight the trade in human lives. Thank you.